Yeah, huh? Yeah, like I don't. No one's gonna want him. No one's gonna want him. No, no. I'm pretty sure no one's gonna want him. Like no one cares about Ducky. No one really like respects him or anything like that. So I don't think people are gonna get. Oh no! Are we live?
I've been here the whole time. Like,
Oh.
what are you talking about?
Oh my god! I did not mean that to happen at all. I'm so sorry. Oh my god,
You,
that's an error, guys. Hey, look.
you really need to stop taking phone calls with Grace in the room, all right?
I'm so embarrassed. I'm so
Yeah.
embarrassed. I done this mistake. I'll make an apology on Twitter, and everything will be fine.
And it's only going to be bad for you. You're going to feel worse than me. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's
Okay.
100%. I feel so bad. And look, I'm going to do everything in my power to rectify this mistake.
All right. Cool. Cool.
Ducky,
cool.
how are you?
I am wonderful, and please, everyone, welcome to the Snowball Show. This is episode. Who knows?
Yeah, which episode is it, Ducky?
I'm going to say 5.
That's a good guess, because even I don't know and I run the show.
Yeah.
It's either 5 or 4. It doesn't matter because we love pumping these out for everyone each week. We love having good times on these shows, but hey, we like to poke a bit of fun about certain news that's happening this week. So Ducky, I'd like to jump into some quick news. We're gonna go pretty easy today. We're feeling loose. It's a bit of a Thursday. We're having a lot of fun.
Loosey goosey one.
I feel loosey and goosey, if that's a word. So,
Sure.
some of the news, if you might have just guessed by the little skit that we did earlier, that was the pinnacle of acting right there.
Yeah.
There was a bit of mishap, a bit of a wrong number on a certain person's stream. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn off this music before we get sued. Sorry, Swifty.
That's
Anyway,
alright.
What I was saying was there was some bad news coming out of the TSM, Team Solo Mid.
Yeah. Three Stooges management is what they've been coined by some people, which has been a rather hilarious acronym going around the space. I don't know how many times an organization can screw up, but TSM is certainly trying to set a world record or something. So in this week, TSM have had the whole double lift trade, which has gone through now. Obviously, conflict of interest thing was always arisen, but now that they're both on the same team,
Yep.
being that both being double lift and his girlfriend, who is the TSM president of gaming, Lena Zhu, they're on the same team now. So the conflict of interest doesn't exist anymore. However, there was a phone call leaked on Double Lift stream because Lena was having a business meeting in the other room where she said something to the likes of "Nobody wants Dardoch, the current TSM jungler," and that's left TSM in a bit of strife because everyone's been jumping on their backs and saying, "Why is Lena taking a business call when Double Lift is in the other room streaming and can hear it?" And so nothing's really come of it. Lena issued an apology where she said she felt more bad than Dardoch did, even though Dardoch's market value arguably dropped as a result of the phone call. TSM have obviously made it clear that they want to get rid of Dardoch, and that he's not going to be on their starting lineup.
Yep.
Their rumored starting jungler is Speaker. There's been screenshots of other TSM members' streams where Speaker has been involved in private group chats where Dardoch has not been. That's all speculation until something comes out, some word comes out of the TSM camp. And basically, the rule of thumb is, like Nico and like Lena, do not take phone calls within earshots of streams.
And I have learnt my lesson. Let's just hope that TSM have learnt their lesson, honestly, because we discussed this last week when TSM were also under a little bit of fire, and
Yep.
they had a little bit more scrutiny put on there for the conflict of interest. They were trying to poach players, etc., etc. And Thorin, the god himself, Thorin. By the way, shout out to Fireball Esports for making a stellar article. Don't know who made it. We're not part of Fireball. Are you a part of Fireball? I'm not a part of Fireball.
I'm not. I mean, I feel like their branding is awfully similar to ours. Like, I think we should file a cease and desist.
I think we should too. But what I'm trying to say is that Thorin, who has been a huge critic of Lena as of late, just got more ammunition to fire against them.
Yeah. And there's really nothing that should really stop him from firing it. Like, I was quite critical of Thorin and the way he approached it last week, or whenever we last discussed it. I think he has not necessarily vindicated himself, but he's definitely redeemed himself in the public eye. I think a lot of his comments have been insensitive, but then when he's actually been on the ball, he's been on the ball.
Yep.
Like he's been poking fun at the situation, fair play. But what comments he's had about TSM management have been good. Whether we're going to see head roll over this, I doubt it. Obviously, TSM themselves have probably had a stern talking to internally with Lena.
Mm-hmm.
I think procedures will change. So if you were still wielding your pitchfork, hoping for her to be sacked, you can probably put it down. But I think her position in TSM will come under a lot of scrutiny when her contract comes around for renewal.
Exactly. She kind of said last week, "Hit me with your best shot, far away," and I think this is pretty much opening up her to be a pretty big target at the moment.
She had the barrel facing the wrong way.
Basically, it's that big old meme where you're holding the gun, bam, and shoot back and hit you on the shoulder. Anyway, I would also like to jump up Evo. The lineup got announced as well. Evo, if you don't know what Evo is, it's one of the biggest fighting tournaments ever.
The biggest fighting game tournament.
It is the Invitational. It's the International. It's Worlds. It's everything for these fighting players. It was supposed to be in Las Vegas, but due to what's happening in these uncertain times, they've had to cancel it. But now they're hosting an online tournament. They've just announced that it's going to be. Shout out to all you weebs out there. You're going to have Under the Night in Birth. That's going to be one of the games. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I mean, that's for everyone really. Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, Soul Calibur 6, Samurai Showdown, and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Sorry, and no doubt you're gonna have all your other favorites like Smash and etc. Or
no,
Smash.
At least from what people have heard and what people have said. Because the entire tournament's being held online over a number of weekends. Smash has basically been taken off the roster from what we have seen. And there was a massive community outcry on it on two arms. One of them was, why? Why are we running fighting game tournaments online? Because netcode for fighting games has historically been awful.
Yes.
And so it's very hard to get fair matches for fighting games online.
Correct.
The second one is, Smash's absence, I guess, in this is very telling for the Ultimate community, which have been up in arms with Nintendo for 6 months now, I guess, asking them to fix Smash Online, fix Ultimate Online, because the netcode is awful, and there's general balancing concerns with the entire game, that people just want Nintendo to stop treating one of their biggest party game franchises, which happens to have a competitive back, and they want it treated with respect. After all, it is probably the biggest fighting game esport on the market, purely because it's the most accessible and well-known game.
Yes.
And the fact that Nintendo keeps neglecting the competitive scene, and now that they're not going to be at EVO for the first time, I think, since 2012, it's a big indictment on the game as a whole. It was originally in the lineup for EVO proper in LA, and there's also a bunch of other titles that were meant to be demoed at EVO, which, including like the new Grand Blue Fantasy title. I don't know the name. I'm not a fighting game guy. I'm sorry. But
How dare you?
the anime girls are cute, but like I've got boomer hands.
Yeah,
I'm young, but I've got boomer hands.
I've got sore thumbs. That's what I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Interesting to say the least. Also, if you're also a fan of the Ultimate, not the Ultimate, the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 series as well, that is also not being there as well, judging by the online trailer. So if you're a fan
That
of that,
is bad.
So if you're a fan of that, I'm sorry to say, you might want to sit this one out. Moving along.
Just before we move along. I forgot about it, because that's actually a big shame, because they were going to hold a 16-player invitational. They were going to get Justin Wong. They were going to get all the throwback guys to run an invitational tournament at EVO this year. And obviously with that being cancelled, it's pretty sad, because that's been historically one of the fan favorite franchises at EVO.
Such a miss out indeed. We'll move along to a little bit of a subject that has been plaguing the industry for quite some time now. Online betting scandals that have been plaguing. I keep using the word plaguing. It's like infesting, really.
Yeah.
Various scenes, mostly CSGO as of late. recently FaZe Banks just openly admitted on a podcast that they do use these betting sites, or they own betting sites.
They did. I think
did.
did is they did.
Yes.
So back in 2016, there was a bunch of rumors going around and reports that FaZe Clan funded their CSGO roster off the back of a betting site called CSGO Wild. While that was denied by FaZe management at the time, 4 years on now, FaZe Banks has just come onto a podcast and said, yeah, we did fund it through this. We got $200,000 a day. And most of all, we're proud of it because we played the internet. And so that reaction has divided a lot of people.
Imagine if you could say that in court, you know? Don't worry, Your Honor. I didn't murder this person. I played them.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself. And you know what? This is just such a... It's the mountains and valleys of esports, really. You've got, you know, your peak stadium fill-outs, all that kind of stuff, the good stuff. And then you have the low valleys where you've got people doing all these shady stuff. Shady stuff that, you know, it really does put a damper on some of the good stuff that comes out of esports. So, you know, just another unnecessary bad notch in esports, really.
Yeah, and the entire thing is really sad because these gambling websites were heavily marketed towards under 18-year-olds who couldn't actually legally gamble. I remember back when I was in high school, I would have been around 13. And, you know, whatever skins I had saved up into my CSGO inventory, you know, I'd put on CSGO Lounge. You know, there'd be the cheap, like, 7 to 15 cent skins. But, you know, that was a way of watching the games, was you put a little bit of skin value in there, and sometimes you got it right, and, you know, that Mag 7 skin you had all of a sudden got upgraded into an AK Elite build or something. Like, it was something worth something. But the fact that they've so openly admitted to running this site to fund their CSGO team, while they also have kids on their lineup. When you look at their lineup, like Mongrel and High Sky and Ewok, all of those guys are under the age of 15. Sure, they're not in CSGO, they're Fortnite pros, but they're still young and impressionable, and those were the kinds of people that Banks and T Martin and Syndicate and Josh OG back in 2015 and 2016 were preying on to start these orgs. And, you know, it's scummy. And it's 4 years on, and you can argue people have changed, but at the end of the day, it's still scummy, predatory behavior. And it's a shame that it's happened to FaZe Clan, because I know they have a really dedicated fan base, but it's damning, and it's awful.
Yeah. So Badger O'Neill is just posted in chat. He says, "At what point does a regulatory body step in and start looking at gambling sites when it comes to esports?" I think they already did that, didn't they? They stepped in Melbourne quite recently. 5 people got.
Yeah. So if we're gonna look at like recent examples, so in Australia, the first esports betting, I guess, investigation slowly wrapping up with 5 CSGO pros being arrested in Victoria for allegedly match fixing a game and winning $30,000. There was a 6th person involved, one from WA. Yep. They weren't charged with anything, so they're not part of anything in the lawsuit. But when we look back towards CSGO Lotto, which was the site that T Martin and Syndicate ran, that was investigated by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, back in the US.
Yep.
And nothing happened. Basically, they got a slap on the wrist. Valve eventually themselves went out and shut down about 37 of these gambling sites, including CSGO Lotto and CSGO Lounge, to try and curb the problem. So while there is regulatory oversight from major bodies, it's only starting to come in now as esports becomes more popularized.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna we're gonna move on because we got to get to some fun bits. This isn't such a doom and gloom show. We're here to celebrate esports, not absolute shit on it. So Ducky,
we're here to have fun.
Exactly, we're here to have fun. I recently got inspired. Okay, it doesn't happen often, but I got inspired recently. I decided, yes, oh no, is usually what happens when I get inspired. I had a particularly bad game of League of Legends one night, and I thought, you know what, I should channel all this energy into something creative. So you know what I did?
You typed in all chat.
I typed in all chat. I did that, but I also I wrote a poem. I wrote a poem about a certain
Was there
moment.
someone on your team? Was there someone on your team bothering you?
Yes, on my team. You know what I always say? The enemy's out there, but it turns out the enemy was right in here. I would like to regale part 1 right now, and then I'll say part 2 later on. If anyone digs it, I'd like to hear their thoughts. But anyway, can I regale you and the audience?
You can go. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. The poem is called A Night on the Rift. 'Twas a night like any other. Time to load up League of Legends. On my SSD, it ain't no bother. I click on ranked because I can't resist. Do I dare go solo like some sort of masochist? Of course! I click play and my queue insta pops. So fast, I'm iron ranked by the way, the fun never stops. We all load in one by one. I'm greeted with middle feed, he says. Middle feed once more, and there goes the fun. We all agreed and let the child won. It's a bit of a reach there.
Yeah.
Vayne he locks in. Vayne of all the champions he locks in Vayne. It has been but only minutes and my patience begins to wane. Time for me to support. Which would you like, I say to my ADC? You decide, I'm easy. At last, time for me to choose. I lock in Bard. We shan't lose. Lol, Bard. Bard? Fuck me, it's a Bard main. I'm sorry, team. I did not mean to cause such pain. But the Vayne! I can't be the one that brings on this pain. It must be mid-Vayne. She is the stain. I can't believe this talk coming from our Swain. I shouldn't BM. I must resist. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. That's the end of part 1.
That is awe-inspiring. That is sparked something in me to never boot up League of Legends ever again.
To never be.
I am a 10-year veteran of League of Legends. I've been playing this beta.
As am I.
Yeah.
So I will tell.
And that is the tale of the majority of my ranked games over the last 10 years.
100% trying to channel that energy. So I will tell part 2 after our next segment. Ducky, what's our next segment?
I don't know. Can you tell me?
I'd rather show you. It's time for Rainbow Six, baby. It was Rainbow Six this entire time.
It's back. The shirt is back.
The shirt is back.
We are environmentally friendly at Snowball because we reused that old shirt.
Exactly. This shirt's a relic. I used it last week. Haha.
Mm.
That's why I was sitting all awkwardly because I was trying to hold it in place.
He's trying to hold it in place, and he didn't have the peg. It's like the Homer meme, you know, where he's stretching his skin back for Marge.
Oh yeah.
Held back by pegs. Yeah, like, that was you.
Exactly, that was me. Ducky. This just in my mind's eye. I'm looking back. I'm going back in time 2 days ago. Or one day.
That's not very far.
That's not very far. Sorry, my abilities only go so far. Six Masters just happened in the last 2 days. If you didn't check it out, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing?
You go to Snowball Esports and you read the recaps.
You read the
predictions, the tips. You get all the analysis. You get all the goodies, and then you go to twitch.tv/Rainbow6 every Tuesday and Wednesday from 7 p.m. Eastern.
And tune in.
And you get the best Rainbow Six ANZ has to offer.
The world has to offer. The world has to offer. Let's not sugarcoat it, okay?
Yeah.
Real quickly, before we get into this, Badger O'Neill just said, well, I'm locking in Vayne now. You can leave the chat room. Thank you very much. Let's get back into it. I'm kidding. Stay. Please stay for part 2. We'll all learn a bit. Yes, so Six Masters just win with some exciting games that just happened. I caught a few, enough that sort of devise my own opinion about who is probably going to be the victors of the entire tournament. But Ducky, I
Yes.
would like to hear your thoughts. You've heard mine, you've seen where mine goes, but I'd like to hear your thoughts real quickly. What are your thoughts on the past 2 days? How did you feel? What's going on?
Well, I feel a bit bummed because I didn't get all my tips correct this week, so it was a little bit worse than last week. I tipped in Akami, TBD, 2-0. They drew a Ferox in a wonderful series, arguably the series of Six Masters so far.
Yep.
So if you haven't watched it and got a couple of hours to spare, I highly recommend watching that. It went to 29 of the maximum 30 rounds, and it was an absolute thriller. Some great clutches. But yeah, Six Masters is really shaping up. This week was the week of draws again, and not draws we weren't expecting. So
Yay.
if you're a wildcard fan, you will likely notice that your team has one L in the column. That's because they dropped a map to the Open Qualifier team, LFO, out of seemingly nowhere. They blitzed out to a wonderful start. They got 4 rounds on attack on Clubhouse, and then they I don't know, they took their foot off the gas, and LFO took 4 on the trot, and then finished it off in regular time to win 7-5. It was quite an amazing map, and I think the growth of LFO is really the biggest story to come out of Six Masters. I think there are some absolutely wonderful players. Mims, who was our week 1 MVP, has been absolutely showing up week after week, and now his teammates are coming on it. So you got Angmo and Heels and Sogs. They've all been putting in really good performance, and Nasty as well. And this has been a really surprising team. And in my predictions piece this week, I said if they manage to take a map off wildcard, then you can probably pencil them in for top 4. And given the strength of schedule they've got, if they can take down Pittsburgh next week, they're well on their way on getting a spot in playoffs.
Exactly, and look, it's getting really, really tight. I've seen some of the games that have been happening. It's getting the ladder is getting a bit more like, it's getting a little bit not enough space. There's no separation really, except Kanga. But everyone needs that kind of team in a tournament. Come on, Kanga shouldn't sell themselves short. Kanga should be embracing it. They should start like playing risky operators. Get used to the tournament kind of spectrum. Have fun with it all.
Yeah, and I think that's something that if you're going to look at a team like Kanga and Alpha, which both teams heading into Six Masters, people expect to be down the bottom. You've seen a team like LFO, they've been running really quirky stuff. Like they've been running a little bit of Monty, they've been running a lot of Nook on really interesting rounds on Clubhouse.
Yep.
Because they've played Clubhouse, I think, every week. They've run some. It's been interesting to see what they've been developing in terms of the strategies. It's not typical Rainbow Six they've been playing. It's their own style of Rainbow Six, and when you're a new team on the block, that's what you need. You need to bring something new.
Yes.
And it's been working. And when you see Kango, it's looked like it's just been small communication issues, but then those small communication issues add up, and all of a sudden you've lost the round, and then you've lost 3 on the trot because team morale is down. So it's a really interesting predicament that Kanga has found themselves in.
Yes. I'm looking at the stats here. It seems like they haven't even reached past a 7. They've only hit 6 wins on any given match.
Yeah.
Every round. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of reflecting to do, but I mean, it could be too soon, too late. You know, I feel like what they need to do right now is really either dial it back, reconfigure, and go back to the drawing board and come up with something next time. But they should really start using this time to get familiar with the tournament side. They probably already know this, but yeah. that's what I think they should do, and have fun with it. Really, not everyone gets a chance to do tournament style, and this is
not everyone gets to play for money like this. And
exactly.
I think
not everyone gets to play for money.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kanga, they're still here. They're still one of the best 8 teams in Australia, and you probably can't take that away from them. Mm-hmm. And there's some really good promise on that roster. Leb and Campo are the 2 names that I pulled out that have been performing well for that team, even when things have looked down. And obviously, we can't see inside the comms, and they've got Chief Cheerleader Spruce, who is trying to keep morale up, surely. And I'm putting it as that it's probably only a matter of time until they get a map win. Whether they escape the bottom of the ladder, I highly doubt it. But there's definitely, you can't discount them. You still just can't discount them yet.
I don't think you can discount anyone really on it. Ever since I've seen countless tournaments where people have come from behind, notably Team OG. If we're gonna just really dial it into another game here, but like you can't
Yeah.
in TI8 you can't count anyone out. I've learned that. That has like completely changed my perspective on that kind of thing. But redirecting our gaze further up the ladder to the tippy top, Wildcard seem to be doing absolutely great, even though they did give out a map to LFO on yesterday. But it was a 7-5, so they did kind of fight it. It was a fight, But and they did sort of stomp them in the previous game. Wildcard. I feel like that what I said earlier, that they are going to be our. I'm going to put my tip in, even though I wasn't invited. I'm going to put my tip in and say that they will probably take the split. If Elevate have something to say about it, then I think Elevate are pretty much Elevate and Okame are pretty much going to be their main contenders. Sinister.
You've got to look at the ladder though. There is only 2 wins separating Wildcard and first from 6th place.
Right.
Like it is a very tightly contested ladder, and the 2 wins is 1 week of games. And if you sweep if Wildcard gets slept, I mean, who they've got? They've got Kanga, they've got Akami, they've got Elevate, and they've got Pittsburgh Knights as their final. That's their run into the end of the season.
Yeah.
So if they get swept by Elevate or Akami, that's going to be a leapfrog, and that's something that they have to be really careful of. Is they can't have that lapse of judgment, and they still need to keep. They've got 1 map buffer, yes, but they still need to keep the foot on the gas. They can't take it off yet. And I think how the ladder's going to shake up is really interesting. This week has kind of seen where we expect the ladder to go. Obviously, with the amount of draws, it's still really up in the air. Mm-hmm. But the direction is starting to get clear. We're seeing teams that we expected to come up to the top rise to the top. And I think in the next couple of weeks, an even clearer picture will form. But my money is still on Wildcard to win the season. But I think it's going to be a hell of a lot closer than I was expecting it to be 3 weeks ago.
Exactly. So we're looking ahead for next week. It's going to be Elevate Ferox. They're going to be playing their 2 matches. Looking like Elevate might take that one. I mean, like you said, it's really hard to tell. Then you got LFO versus PK. Wildcard have Kanga, so they could be securing their top of the table with Kanga, unless Kanga could pull up a big old upset. I've seen it happen in the past, so
they've done it before. There's been upsets like that before.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be it? Kanga's first 2 wins would be for a wild card. The bottom beats the top. And then Okama versus Sinister. Some really, really important matches coming up next week. The one I'm excited for really is not until June. Not until June, which is going to be Elevate versus Wildcard. I want to see that, and I'm going to be holding out a lot for those 2 matches because I feel like we're probably going to be seeing the finals right there. So I feel like not only tune into the current 6 Masters that is coming up, but please stick with it. And look, I'm looking forward to those 2 matches there. They're my 2.
Yep, so 6 Masters returns on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. You'll be seeing Elevate versus Ferox as the first match on the card. Will return on Wednesday as well. And this season's running for another 4 weeks. We're only just tipping over the halfway point now, so there's still plenty of action left, and then there's playoffs after that. So if you haven't been able to catch 6 Masters, you can catch up on Snowball Esports. There's previews and recaps of every week so far. Our recap for week 3 will be coming out in the next 48 hours. I got an interview with Pittsburgh Knights Arlo, so that will be published on the Snowball Esports site, and you can catch all the news and analysis that you need for 6 Masters there.
Yep, so please tune into all that lovely, juicy content, because that's what we like to see. Ducky, sorry to say, but we're gonna... Oh, you got something? You got some?
Speaking of Rainbow Six, I'm gonna do a little thanks to Ubisoft and Rainbow Six Australia. Nico and I were so wonderfully invited to their playtest of Operation Steelwind. Is that what it's called? Can't remember. The new Rainbow Six Operation, which the name has eluded me right now. Year 5 Season 2. While we can't talk about it, we can say that we've played it, and we can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it.
It is exciting.
It's very exciting. and that's about all we can say. So yeah,
Yeah,
keep your eyes peeled. Sometime between now and the end of eternity, when this could possibly release, but it's definitely new content that Rainbow Six fans will love.
Steel Wave, by the way, Operation Steel Wave. So,
Steel Wave.
Yes, exactly. We can't tell anything more about it. It is completely under wraps. They actually do have assassins at Ubisoft. Go figure, because Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And there's
I can see the street.
I can see.
I
You
know
can
this
see
is
yours.
really,
You can see your ones.
These are blackout, but I
Yeah.
can see the car lights looking
Yeah.
down the cul-de-sac into my house right now.
Yeah.
So I think they're on me.
Yeah,
So
my
keep an eye
guy. See, my guy's right next to me, and he's just standing next to me. But he's like about this tall. So man, I'm watching you.
Is he? Are you currently looking him in the eyes right now? Like it's like
See, he's doing this.
parallel.
Get your hand out of my face.
Yeah. So he's about 4 feet tall.
Yeah, he's 4 feet tall, but I mean they're assassins, so I can't trust them.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for Ubisoft for like hosting that. Shane, Adele, Dev, all the teams at Ubisoft, they've been absolutely lovely and supporting of all the content that we put out. God bless them. If
God
you want
bless.
to put, or you know, whoever you believe in, bless them. So we're gonna move on real quick to our next segment. But firstly, I'd like to read some comments that have been left in our chat. So we got Wyatt42772 want to become famous. I do want to become famous. Buy followers. Oh wait a minute, that's a bot. I don't want. We don't. We do not buy
a bot follower from Tunisia.
Yeah. We also got a bot follower from Tunisia. Hello, welcome from Tunisia. Hispanic at the disco. I just got the noti. Did I miss What's Up with Ray? No, What's Up with Ray today. Unfortunately, I kind of want to give him a break. I don't want to.
He's been hounding us in the back room to stop talking mad shit about him.
Exactly, and I kind of want to bank him up. I want to bank up the content, so I'll leave it be. And God, I love Ducky. That must be another bot that you put in there. So that's Ducky's sub account clearly.
That's my boy Blake. That's my boy Blake. Blake Mitchell, the breakaway guy.
So
breakaway
please,
guy,
if you do comment in the Twitch chat, we do read them out. Please, I encourage you guys to do it. Ducky, real quickly, would you like to hear part 2 of my poem?
I would love to hear part 2 of your poem.
Cool, because my girlfriend didn't say those exact words when I said that to her at 1 a.m. in the morning when I come bursting in the room and I was like, listen to my poem about a game. I'll be more theatrical this time because I've got room to be more gesturing.
Yeah, you don't have to hold a shirt against your back like this.
Exactly. Man, if I had $1 for every time I heard that. Ready. Part 2 of A Night on the Rift. The match has only just begun, and I've already started sweating. I don't like our chances if I was betting. Ward my blue, explained our jungler, Willumpa Nunu. Swain ignored that request. Straight to the top was his only quest. Release the red and off we go, to bot lane where we meet our foe. MF and Pike. To support, this is a horrible sight. 1 creep, 2 creep, 3 creep. My marksman's struggling against the man from the deep. First blood. Vayne is dead. Do you remember what you said? Mid or feed? That is not what we agreed. Swain said in a huff. Team, keep it together. That's enough. We enter the mid-game 14-4. It's not ideal, but that's the score. Let me catch my We can still win this, I say to encourage the troops. Vayne does again. Oops. It's beyond me that we made it to 30 mins. Just like Anakin in Star Wars, this is where the fun begins. I have amassed countless meeps. Enough to damage the toughest of creeps. Quick, they are doing Baron. Shut the fuck up, bud. You sound like a Karen. A swift team fight and we get the wipe. Let's push mid and win and a win is in sight. Lol, no. Vayne is disconnected. The Virgin is gone and we feel dejected. The enemy shift the tide and get the win. fuck this vein and get in the bin. I exit the game and I'm like super pissed. I click play again because I can't resist. A night on the Rift.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Really
I encourage everyone to channel all their frustrations into something creative, like I just did, instead of I don't know, punching a wall or something.
I feel like you should like ask Riot if you can become a writer for Arcane.
You think so?
They've got that animated series coming. I think if you put that to them, they might get you on for a special.
Look, I know you're probably memeing, but I'm going to take that on board. I'm going to message Riot right now, and I'm going to add them. If anyone else wants to add them.
When have I ever joked with you? I've always been purely serious. You know, I want you to follow your dreams, Nicholas Howell. I really want you to follow your dreams.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That was a lot of fun doing this one, and I encourage people to do poems because they're kind of fun. They're kind of a good outlet. Another thing that's fun is this next segment, which is what we have dubbed the fun segment of our rundown sheet. The most creative man in fucking esports here, and I've called it the fun segment.
It's just the fun segment.
Exactly. Ducky, so as of late, I've been seeing a lot of masterclasses. You know, masterclass, you know that you can become a painter, you can cook and stuff like that.
Yes.
Now, someone's seen that and said, you know what I want to do? I want to do an esports masterclass. So they've reached out to pros to do an esports masterclass. And I thought, you know what's great? You know what would be cool? If we did our own masterclasses. So something that we're good at, we could do a masterclass on. Something really specialized. And one of the ideas that I came up with that I think I'm pretty good at is doing the slam on the desk, but without waking everyone in like earshot, right? You're a bit frustrated.
Like, if you slam the desk, like if you've got like a desk mic, like I do, if you slam it, the reverb goes up through the mic, and then your teammates hate you.
Yes.
So you got to be quiet about it. I can never do this myself, so I'm really interested to hear what you've got to say.
Exactly. So everyone's seen Kill Bill. There's a bit in Kill Bill where they do the punch that you hit from like this far away. So you can put like that, like bam, bam. Well, the same principle applies to the desk slam. So you get your hand on your mouse, like so. Like so. You get your hand on the mouse like that. Yeah, and then when you get your hand on the mouse, you just go like that, next to your mouse. Like, I'll do an example. You'll probably... There you go. I just did it. You didn't hear it.
Yeah. You didn't hear a thing?
Didn't hear it.
You might see the camera shake. That's it. You know?
Yeah.
You're not on cam all the time.
I mean, that... Exactly. And that comes down to my... That's a desk. That's a whole other issue. But I'm just saying, right, just that. And you're like, oh, I fed first spot. Ah, damn. Instead of just going like XQC and just like bashing the desk and waking everyone up. I live in an apartment block. I can't do that. So I just do these gentle little knocks.
Yeah. How respectful of you. And you know, that's
simple.
That's a wonderful outlet for people to use when they're angry.
Ducky, do you have anything to share with the class?
Well, I'm a writer. I've been a writer for years.
What?
I invented words. Did you know?
I didn't know that. That's actually very, very.
Yes, I'm not just a cute look. I invented all of the words.
Ducky, you've invented words, but you're going to do a masterclass on this, right?
Yeah. So my masterclass is on words, and namely, we're going to go back to the top of the show. What PR managers are used for? Now, if you're an organization with more than 10,000 followers and you need to issue an apology, you need to hire someone in PR. This is not a job. The esports masterclass for PR writing is hire someone to do it for you. Because if you try and write a PR response yourself, and you might be the president of your esports arm of your highly reputable organization, the only thing you're going to end up doing is making yourself look like a fool.
Yes. So,
here's my pro tip. If you have more than 10,000 followers and you run an esports org, you either need a community manager, or you need a PR person, or you need both.
Exactly.
Don't do what you're not qualified for.
Bingo.
And you know what? Sharing the workload is always better. Because it's not necessarily saying you're bad at one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's making sure all the parts move together perfectly,
Exactly.
and that everything looks fine.
Exactly. You
It
don't
doesn't
hire
have to be fine. That's what PR people are for. It doesn't have to be fine. It just has to look fine.
Exactly. It's like putting wallpaper on fucking a wall that's rotting.
Wallpaper on your wall. Like, what is this? You're always looking like you're in one of those sensory, like, desensitization rooms. Like, you need some color in that room, bro.
There you go.
It's monochrome.
There you go.
The only color you've got is the NASA logo.
There you go. There you go. But
That's art. You can probably sell it for 30k. Let's be real.
exactly. And what I will say, you don't get a brain surgeon to do rocket surgery. You know what I mean? And I think
rocket surgery. Is that who NASA are hiring now? Like
Exactly.
they're not rocket scientists anymore. They're rocket surgeons.
they're rocket surgeons. I mean, you prove me wrong. They cut open rockets and fucking fiddle with their what? I don't know. I'm not a brain scientist.
How would you know?
I'm not a brain scientist. I don't know anything. So I would, Ducky, I would like to conclude today's Snowball show. It has been great. It's been a great pleasure having you on once again. We love doing this show. We love doing it for the people. And look who's decided to come and chat. It's Ray himself.
Oh, it's Ray as well. Jesus
Don't
Christ,
worry.
what's up with Ray? What's up with Ray? He's into the chat.
What's up with Ray? I mean, sorry, there's no what's up with Ray today. No what's up with Ray today.
There's no what's up with Ray today because Ray is an uninteresting human. This week, at least. He's been very interesting in the past, but this week he's just been doing a lot of push-ups for a good cause.
Exactly. And we actually, speaking of push-ups for a good cause, I feel like Ray needs to go... not Ray. I think people need to go and donate to Ray's push-up for a cause challenge. Is doing him. Rusty's doing it. Udisoft is doing it as well. It's all for a good cause. Please go check it out as well. You can find it on his Twitter. I think his Twitter is like @Ray. He'll post it in chat. He'll post it in chat. Who are we kidding? It's all a bunch of Snowball people here anyway. You all know where to get it. You all know who Ray is. Come on, people. Let's lift up the curtain. I am. Here I am, the Wizard of Oz. There I am. I saw it. But anyway,
what's up this weekend in esports?
Oh, real quick, because we've got time. I'm going to pad it a little bit. So I'm going to do one push-up for Ray. Okay, ready?
Let's do it together.
Yeah, I'm going to do a push-up for Ray.
Alrighty, I'm here. I'm down.
Yeah, ready?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go.
2, 3. Oh.
Yeah, that's enough. There you go, Ray. You can add some to your total. I'm telling Nico.
I'm fine. That was acting. Again.
You fine?
Once again, I'm a fantastic actor.
I'm not so sure that was acting, bro.
No, it was acting. I feel fine. There's not a pile of vomit at my feet. But, and in completely unrelated news, we should quickly wrap up this podcast because I've got some, not cleaning, I've got some things to do. We've got things to do.
Yeah, you got things to do.
We've got a few things that piqued my interest over on Friday for esports. ESL 1 Road to EU, Road to Rio EU, sorry, my mistake. If you want to get up, I mean, let's face it, you're all going to be up. It's 12:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time that is for. It'll be like 9:30 for you guys.
10:30.
10:30. You can catch Nip versus Vitality. It's going to be a really good game. Lots of good CSGO action happening as well. And if you feel like it, watch some Dota right afterwards. Or during, because they're around the same time-ish. VP versus Nip at the OGA Dota Pit online tournament between EU and CIS. You can see VP versus... Man, Nip are busy. Anyway, it's Nip again. Without any PPD. And that's going to be from 1 o'clock. That's going to be at 1 a.m. I'm going to be looking forward to... I mean, I think everyone's going to be looking forward to this. But like when fucking Valorant pick up their full-on... start the esports tournaments. Then that's going to be another...
We were seeing a lot of it, but like... I want to see some like major level stuff, and that probably won't be coming for another 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But I am really excited to see what the Valorant esports scene holds. A few things that Nico hasn't got on the list here. So PUBG PCS Charity Showdown has started. APAC is on right now. But it's also coming back every kind of second or third night from here on out for the next couple of weeks. So if you like PUBG, you can catch the boys like the former Incognito roster now on Fury in action, Atletico, etc. I highly recommend that you watch it. And also next week, DreamHack Masters Spring is starting. NA and EU both start on the 19th of May. And times vary from about 10 p.m. Eastern till about 10 a.m. the next day. So there's CSGO running all around.
You are not short of CSGO content, that is for sure. Ducky, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Again, I'm going to say it again, why not? Because it's always a pleasure where you're gracing the screens of Snowball. Thank you so much.
And yourself.
You know what? I get my gratification from other places. You know, I feel my ego by producing this show. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. It really does mean a lot to us that we have people just one person. Hell, I'm in on my own personal one.
I'm in.
That in there. Ducky's in. Like I mean,
I put the green sword.
Exactly. I like hearing people. Comments in the chat. I love commenting and reacting and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Ducky, is your assassin? Is he acting a bit weird? Mine over here. I just gotta get a bit closer because
the lights are like closer. They're like in my driveway now.
Mine is starting to like move. You know when the one that doesn't move like is the scariest? He's sort of like. Okay, stop. Ah!
Welfare check? Oh, he's back. Okay, cool. What's happening?
Okay, I think we talked too much. I think we talked too much.
I think we should cut it off now before we, Ubisoft come calling.
Exactly, Ducky, I gotta go. Okay.
Okay, go.
Alright,
yeah, we'll do.
I'm
keeping it.
No!